So another great natural movement skill to train is balance. And I work with a lot of baby boomers, even seniors, and they tell me that they're challenged by balance. And I know this because it requires good hip mobility and balance to do basic skills like even tie your own shoes without sitting down on a chair and putting your foot up on something, right? It takes balance and mobility. So this kind of stuff can be trained. And I like to use, you can use, I mean, I've got a balance beam here, but you probably don't have a balance beam in your living room. But there's other things that you can do. So for beginners, I would suggest you can just take a line, whether it's a line in the tile or whether it's an imaginary line, or you can take some masking tape or some painter's tape and make your own do-it-yourself balance beam across the floor. So one of the simplest things to do, actually I'm going to ask you to do it on the beam, is just walk on the beam. And I'm not going to coach you, I'm just going to see how you move, right? And how challenging you find this. And you're doing great, Giovanni. So one of the things that I like that you're doing is you're fairly relaxed, right? So when you're walking on the beam, you want to keep your arms relaxed. You're not on a tightrope here, so you just try to want to relax. You want to control your breathing, breathe in the belly, try and posture up, and you want to control the movement pattern like this. You can walk forwards, you can walk backwards, you can try some deep knee bends or lunges. So now I can start combining movements because I'm working on hip mobility and ground mobility as well as the balance. Or I can take one leg, bring it off of the beam, and I can bring it in different directions. I can say, can I put it behind me? How far? Now my balance is a little more challenged. How far to one side can I bring it? Can I come into a deep squat, like a one-legged squat? So this exercise is a little more advanced, a little more challenging, but you can see there's a lot you can do to train balance. So think of traditional things, squats on the beam. You can move laterally, right? And again, I can do this with just a line on the floor. And that is more challenging because now I'm forced to use my calf muscles here, and I can do squats here, work on this mobility, come up, and this is a very natural squat position here, and back up again. I can combine this with some traditional strength and conditioning exercises. We talked about push-ups, getting up and down off of the floor. Put some balance work in there too.
So if someone were to do this at home and just some masking tape, they would try to keep the same size, maybe 2x4, like a 2-inch thickness, and just try to stay on that?
Yeah, basically you want about the thickness of your foot to start with. You can make it narrower, but if you're just working on the floor, it's not going to make any difference because it's a solid surface anyway. It's just the idea of staying in a straight line. But think of other things that you can do to challenge yourself. So maybe you're on that line and you come down into your squat and maybe you don't get up. So basically you're going to walk placing one foot in front of the other without bobbing up and down. And so this is how you would take a simple exercise and make it much more challenging.